How to remember everything you learn. Have you ever met someone at a party, smiled, shook their hand, and heard them say, "Hi, I'm Daniel," only to completely blank on their name 5 minutes later? Have you ever studied for hours, highlighted your textbook in 3 different colors, and then walked into an exam, only to feel like your brain wiped itself clean? Or maybe you've stood in the middle of your kitchen, staring into space, wondering, why did I come in here again? If this sounds familiar, please hear this clearly. You do not have a bad memory. Your brain is not broken. You are not just forgetful. The truth is far simpler and far more hopeful. You were never taught how to use your memory properly. Most of us go through life treating our brain like a magic box, expecting it to remember everything we throw at it, without ever learning how it actually works. But memory isn't magic. It's a skill. And like any skill, playing guitar, cooking, speaking English, it can be learned, practiced, and mastered. In this video, you'll discover 10 powerful, science-backed strategies that will help you remember anything you want: names, vocabulary, facts, speeches, even your grocery list, and keep it in your mind for life. And here's something special. This video is also designed to improve your English. Every sentence you hear is clear, natural, and practical. You'll learn real expressions, expand your vocabulary, and train your brain to think in English, not just translate it. So whether you're preparing for an English exam, learning new words, or simply tired of forgetting what matters, this is your moment. Let's begin your journey to a stronger, sharper, and more trustworthy mind. Step 1, your memory is not broken, it's untrained. The biggest myth about memory is this: some people are just born with good memories, and I wasn't. This is completely false. Memory champions, the people who memorize decks of cards in minutes or recall 100-digit numbers, are not geniuses. They're ordinary people who learned how memory works and trained it like a muscle. Your brain is like a library. Every time you learn something, a word, a name, a fact, it's like placing a book on a shelf. But if you just toss the book anywhere without labeling it or ever coming back to read it, it gets lost in the chaos. That's exactly what happens when you hear information but don't process it. It stays in your short-term memory, like writing on a whiteboard, and vanishes within minutes. But your long-term memory is like a vault. Once something is stored there, it can last a lifetime. The key? You must move information from short-term to long-term storage. And that doesn't happen by accident. It happens through intentional practice. So stop saying I have a bad memory. Start saying, I'm learning how to use my memory better. Because the moment you believe your memory can grow, it already has. Step 2, pay full attention, because you can't remember what you never noticed. Here's a hard truth. You don't have a memory problem. You have an attention problem. You cannot remember what your brain never truly saw, heard, or felt. Think about this. You get out of a taxi, distracted by your phone, and accidentally leave your bag inside. Later, you try to remember the license plate, but your mind is blank. Why? Because your eyes saw the car, but your mind wasn't present. You were physically there, but mentally somewhere else. Your brain receives millions of pieces of information every day: sounds, notifications, headlines, conversations. But it can't possibly save everything. So it asks one question: is this important? And the only way it knows something is important if you pay attention to it. So here's your new rule. Before you try to remember something, pause for 5 seconds. Look directly at the person. Say their name out loud. Repeat the new English word in your head. Feel the meaning of the sentence. That tiny moment of focus is the difference between forgetting in 5 minutes and remembering for 5 years. Step 3, turn words into vivid mental pictures. Your brain doesn't think in words. It thinks in images, sounds, smells, and emotions. If I say the word ocean, you don't picture the letters O-C-E-A-N. You see blue waves, hear crashing water, maybe even feel sand between your toes. This is your superpower. So when you learn a new English word, like serendipity, finding something good without looking for it, don't just read the definition. Create a mental movie. Imagine you're walking down the street, sad and lost, and you trip over a box. Inside, a letter from your childhood best friend, a $20 bill, and your favorite chocolate bar. You laugh out loud. That's serendipity. The more vivid, emotional, or even silly your image, the stronger the memory. Want to remember resilience? Picture a tree bending in a storm, but not breaking. Its roots hold strong. Want to remember abundant? Imagine a garden exploding with fruits, flowers, and butterflies, so much life it overflows. This isn't just for vocabulary. Use it for names, dates, grammar rules, anything. Your brain remembers what it experiences, not what it merely reads. Step 4. Wrap information in a story. Lists are boring. Stories are unforgettable. Try to memorize this list: apple, key, river, lamp, tiger. You might remember 2 or 3, if you're lucky. Now try this. You're walking through a forest when you see a giant apple floating in a river. You reach for it, and inside the apple is a golden key. You use the key to unlock a cave where a glowing lamp lights up the darkness. And out jumps a friendly tiger who gives you a hug. Now close your eyes. Can you remember all 5 items in order? Of course you can, because your brain loves narrative. Stories have emotion, movement, and connection. They feel alive. Use this for everything. Your to-do list? Turn it into a mini adventure. English vocabulary? Link words into a funny scene. A speech or presentation? Structure it like a story, with a hero, you, a challenge, and a lesson. The crazier the story, the better. Your brain holds on to surprise, not logic. Step 5. Practice spaced repetition. Review at the right time. Cramming the night before a test, that's not learning, that's temporary storage. Real learning happens over time through spaced repetition. Here's how it works. When you first learn something, your brain writes it in sand. But if you don't revisit it, wind and waves erase it within days. But if you review it after 1 hour, then 1 day, then 3 days, then 1 week, each time you strengthen the memory, like carving it into stone. For example, you learn the word persistent. Day 1, write a sentence. She was persistent and never gave up. Day 2, use it in a conversation. Day 4, write a short paragraph about someone persistent in your life. Day 7, listen for it in a podcast or movie. Day 14, teach it to a friend. After 4 to 5 reviews, that word is yours forever. Use free tools like Anki or Quizlet. They schedule reviews automatically. Or just keep a small notebook and check your words every few days. One-time learning is fake learning. Real memory is built through repetition. Step 6. Attach emotion to everything you learn. Why do you remember your first day of school but not what you had for lunch last week? Because emotion locks memory in place. Your brain has a special alarm system, the amygdala, that says, "This moment matters. Save it forever." And it only activates when you feel something: joy, sadness, surprise, even frustration. So when learning, ask yourself, how does this make me feel? Have I experienced something like this? Why does this matter to me? Studying history? Don't just memorize World War II ended in 1945. Imagine families reuniting after years apart, tears of relief, cities rebuilding. Now it's not a date, it's a human story. Learning the word lonely? Don't just define it. Remember a time you felt alone and how someone's kindness changed everything. Now the word lives inside you. Even if a topic feels boring, like a grammar rule, add fake emotion. Imagine your past perfect tense is a time machine that saves your dog from getting lost. Silly, yes. Effective, absolutely. Step 7. Teach what you learn immediately. This is one of the most powerful secrets. Teaching is remembering twice. The moment you explain something to someone else, or even to yourself, you shift from passive learner to active creator. You must recall the information clearly, organize it in your mind, express it in your own words. This forces your brain to rebuild the knowledge from scratch. And what you can rebuild, you'll never forget. So after learning a new English phrase like break the ice, don't just move on. Say out loud, break the ice means to start a conversation in a shy group, like when I smiled and asked about the weather at the party. That broke the ice. You don't need a classroom. Teach in the mirror, record a voice note, text a friend. If you can teach it, you own it. Studies show students who teach others score up to 90% higher on tests. Because teaching isn't the end of learning, it's the proof of it. Step 8. Build a memory palace. Store information in places. This ancient technique was used by Greek orators and modern memory champions alike. It's called the memory palace, and it's easier than you think. Your brain is amazing at remembering places. You can probably still picture your childhood bedroom, the color of the walls where your toys were, the view from the window. So use that power. Choose a familiar place, your home, your commute route, your favorite cafe. Then place each thing you want to remember in a specific spot. For example, to memorize 5 English words, front door, a giant resilient rubber ball bounces back every time you kick it. Living room, a serendipitous rainbow appears over your couch. Abundant fruits spill out of the fridge. A persistent dripping tap won't stop. A curious cat opens your closet and finds treasure. Now walk through your house in your mind. The words come alive because they're anchored in space. Use this for speeches, vocabulary, exam facts, or even your weekly schedule. Your brain loves structure, and your home is the perfect library. Step 9. Review before sleep. Let your brain save what matters. Here's a secret most people ignore. The last 10 minutes before sleep are golden for memory. While you sleep, your brain isn't resting. It's cleaning, sorting, and saving the day's experiences. It asks, what should I keep? What should I delete? And what tells it what's important? What you focused on right before bed. So instead of scrolling through social media, try this. Turn off your phone. Open your notebook. Review 3 to 5 things you learned today. Whisper them, visualize them, feel proud. You're sending a clear signal. This matters, save it. And your brain listens. This takes 5 minutes, but it can double your retention. Plus, it calms your mind and improves sleep, a win-win. Step 10. Write things down. Press the save button in your brain. There's a reason you forget what you read, but rarely forget what you write. Writing by hand activates your brain in a deep physical way. Typing is fast and automatic, but writing? You slow down, you form each letter, you connect your hand, eyes, and mind. It's like pressing save on a computer file. So keep a small notebook. When you learn a new word, write the word. Write the meaning in your own words. Create a sentence. Add a personal connection. Example, word gratitude. Meaning, feeling thankful for what you have. Sentence, I felt deep gratitude when my friend helped me move. I want to practice gratitude every morning. This 60-second habit turns a definition into a living memory. Science confirms it. Students who take handwritten notes remember more than those who type or highlight. So grab a pen, make your learning physical, build your own library, one word at a time. Final truth, protect your mind from overload. All these techniques work, but only if you protect your mental space. Your brain is not a trash can for endless notifications, viral videos, and other people's opinions. It's a garden, and if you let weeds grow wild, they choke the flowers. Every time you scroll mindlessly, you flood your brain with noise, burying what truly matters. That's why you forget your grocery list after checking your phone for just 1 minute. So set boundaries. Start your day in silence, no phone for the first 10 minutes. Unfollow accounts that drain your focus. Practice digital fasting, 1 hour a day with no screens. Journal at night to clear mental clutter. You only get one mind, guard it fiercely. You're not just learning memory, you're awakening your potential. These 10 steps aren't just tricks, they're a new way of living, more focused, more present, more confident. And as you practice them, something beautiful happens. Your English improves naturally. You understand faster. You speak with more fluency. You trust your mind again. But remember, knowing is not enough. Memory mastery comes from doing every day. Do you pause to pay attention? Do you turn words into pictures? Do you write, teach, and protect your focus? If you do, you're not just someone who remembers better. You're becoming someone who remembers what matters and uses that power to grow, connect, and shine. If this video helped you, please subscribe for more content that makes you smarter, calmer, and more fluent, not just in English, but in life. Because here we don't just learn words. We build minds that remember, understand, and create. Thank you for watching. Now go learn something amazing and never forget it. How to remember everything you learn. Have you ever met someone at a party, smiled, shook their hand, and heard them say, "Hi, I'm Daniel," only to completely blank on their name 5 minutes later? Have you ever studied for hours, highlighted your textbook in 3 different colors, and then walked into an exam, only to feel like your brain wiped itself clean? Or maybe you've stood in the middle of your kitchen, staring into space, wondering, why did I come in here again? If this sounds familiar, please hear this clearly. You do not have a bad memory. Your brain is not broken. You are not just forgetful. The truth is far simpler and far more hopeful. You were never taught how to use your memory properly. Most of us go through life treating our brain like a magic box, expecting it to remember everything we throw at it, without ever learning how it actually works. But memory isn't magic. It's a skill. And like any skill, playing guitar, cooking, speaking English, it can be learned, practiced, and mastered. In this video, you'll discover 10 powerful, science-backed strategies that will help you remember anything you want: names, vocabulary, facts, speeches, even your grocery list, and keep it in your mind for life. And here's something special. This video is also designed to improve your English. Every sentence you hear is clear, natural, and practical. You'll learn real expressions, expand your vocabulary, and train your brain to think in English, not just translate it. So whether you're preparing for an English exam, learning new words, or simply tired of forgetting what matters, this is your moment. Let's begin your journey to a stronger, sharper, and more trustworthy mind. Step 1, your memory is not broken, it's untrained. The biggest myth about memory is this: some people are just born with good memories, and I wasn't. This is completely false. Memory champions, the people who memorize decks of cards in minutes or recall 100-digit numbers, are not geniuses. They're ordinary people who learned how memory works and trained it like a muscle. Your brain is like a library. Every time you learn something, a word, a name, a fact, it's like placing a book on a shelf. But if you just toss the book anywhere without labeling it or ever coming back to read it, it gets lost in the chaos. That's exactly what happens when you hear information but don't process it. It stays in your short-term memory, like writing on a whiteboard, and vanishes within minutes. But your long-term memory is like a vault. Once something is stored there, it can last a lifetime. The key? You must move information from short-term to long-term storage. And that doesn't happen by accident. It happens through intentional practice. So stop saying I have a bad memory. Start saying, I'm learning how to use my memory better. Because the moment you believe your memory can grow, it already has. Step 2, pay full attention, because you can't remember what you never noticed. Here's a hard truth. You don't have a memory problem. You have an attention problem. You cannot remember what your brain never truly saw, heard, or felt. Think about this. You get out of a taxi, distracted by your phone, and accidentally leave your bag inside. Later, you try to remember the license plate, but your mind is blank. Why? Because your eyes saw the car, but your mind wasn't present. You were physically there, but mentally somewhere else. Your brain receives millions of pieces of information every day: sounds, notifications, headlines, conversations. But it can't possibly save everything. So it asks one question: is this important? And the only way it knows something is important if you pay attention to it. So here's your new rule. Before you try to remember something, pause for 5 seconds. Look directly at the person. Say their name out loud. Repeat the new English word in your head. Feel the meaning of the sentence. That tiny moment of focus is the difference between forgetting in 5 minutes and remembering for 5 years. Step 3, turn words into vivid mental pictures. Your brain doesn't think in words, it thinks in images, sounds, smells, and emotions. If I say the word ocean, you don't picture the letters OCEAN. You see blue waves, hear crashing water, maybe even feel sand between your toes. This is your superpower. So when you learn a new English word, like serendipity, finding something good without looking for it, don't just read the definition. Create a mental movie. Imagine you're walking down the street, sad and lost, and you trip over a box. Inside, a letter from your childhood best friend, a $20 bill, and your favorite chocolate bar. You laugh out loud. That's serendipity. The more vivid, emotional, or even silly your image, the stronger the memory. Want to remember resilience? Picture a tree bending in a storm, but not breaking. Its roots hold strong. Want to remember abundant? Imagine a garden exploding with fruits, flowers, and butterflies, so much life it overflows. This isn't just for vocabulary. Use it for names, dates, grammar rules, anything. Your brain remembers what it experiences, not what it merely reads. Step 4. Wrap information in a story. Lists are boring. Stories are unforgettable. Try to memorize this list: apple, key, river, lamp, tiger. You might remember 2 or 3, if you're lucky. Now try this. You're walking through a forest when you see a giant apple floating in a river. You reach for it, and inside the apple is a golden key. You use the key to unlock a cave where a glowing lamp lights up the darkness. And out jumps a friendly tiger who gives you a hug. Now close your eyes. Can you remember all 5 items in order? Of course you can, because your brain loves narrative. Stories have emotion, movement, and connection. They feel alive. Use this for everything. Your to-do list? Turn it into a mini adventure. English vocabulary? Link words into a funny scene. A speech or presentation? Structure it like a story, with a hero, you, a challenge, and a lesson. The crazier the story, the better. Your brain holds on to surprise, not logic. Step 5. Practice spaced repetition. Review at the right time. Cramming the night before a test, that's not learning, that's temporary storage. Real learning happens over time through spaced repetition. Here's how it works. When you first learn something, your brain writes it in sand. But if you don't revisit it, wind and waves erase it within days. But if you review it after 1 hour, then 1 day, then 3 days, then 1 week, each time you strengthen the memory, like carving it into stone. For example, you learn the word persistent. Day 1, write a sentence. She was persistent and never gave up. Day 2, use it in a conversation. Day 4, write a short paragraph about someone persistent in your life. Day 7, listen for it in a podcast or movie. Day 14, teach it to a friend. After 4 to 5 reviews, that word is yours forever. Use free tools like Anki or Quizlet. They schedule reviews automatically. Or just keep a small notebook and check your words every few days. One-time learning is fake learning. Real memory is built through repetition. Step 6. Attach emotion to everything you learn. Why do you remember your first day of school but not what you had for lunch last week? Because emotion locks memory in place. Your brain has a special alarm system, the amygdala, that says, "This moment matters. Save it forever." And it only activates when you feel something: joy, sadness, surprise, even frustration. So when learning, ask yourself, how does this make me feel? Have I experienced something like this? Why does this matter to me? Studying history? Don't just memorize World War II ended in 1945. Imagine families reuniting after years apart, tears of relief, cities rebuilding. Now it's not a date, it's a human story. Learning the word lonely? Don't just define it. Remember a time you felt alone and how someone's kindness changed everything. Now the word lives inside you. Even if a topic feels boring, like a grammar rule, add fake emotion. Imagine your past perfect tense is a time machine that saves your dog from getting lost. Silly, yes. Effective, absolutely. Step 7. Teach what you learn immediately. This is one of the most powerful secrets. Teaching is remembering twice. The moment you explain something to someone else, or even to yourself, you shift from passive learner to active creator. You must recall the information clearly. Organize it in your mind. Express it in your own words. This forces your brain to rebuild the knowledge from scratch. And what you can rebuild, you'll never forget. So after learning a new English phrase like break the ice, don't just move on. Say out loud, break the ice means to start a conversation in a shy group, like when I smiled and asked about the weather at the party. That broke the ice. You don't need a classroom. Teach in the mirror, record a voice note, text a friend. If you can teach it, you own it. Studies show students who teach others score up to 90% higher on tests. Because teaching isn't the end of learning, it's the proof of it. Step 8. Build a memory palace, store information in places. This ancient technique was used by Greek orators and modern memory champions alike. It's called the memory palace, and it's easier than you think. Your brain is amazing at remembering places. You can probably still picture your childhood bedroom, the color of the walls where your toys were, the view from the window. So use that power. Choose a familiar place, your home, your commute route, your favorite cafe. Then place each thing you want to remember in a specific spot. For example, to memorize 5 English words, front door, a giant resilient rubber ball bounces back every time you kick it. Living room, a serendipitous rainbow appears over your couch. Abundant fruits spill out of the fridge. A persistent dripping tap won't stop. A curious cat opens your closet and finds treasure. Now walk through your house in your mind. The words come alive because they're anchored in space. Use this for speeches, vocabulary, exam facts, or even your weekly schedule. Your brain loves structure, and your home is the perfect library. Step 9. Review before sleep. Let your brain save what matters. Here's a secret most people ignore. The last 10 minutes before sleep are golden for memory. While you sleep, your brain isn't resting. It's cleaning, sorting, and saving the day's experiences. It asks, what should I keep? What should I delete? And what tells it what's important? What you focused on right before bed. So instead of scrolling through social media, try this. Turn off your phone. Open your notebook. Review 3 to 5 things you learned today. Whisper them, visualize them, feel proud. You're sending a clear signal. This matters, save it. And your brain listens. This takes 5 minutes, but it can double your retention. Plus, it calms your mind and improves sleep, a win-win. Step 10. Write things down. Press the save button in your brain. There's a reason you forget what you read, but rarely forget what you write. Writing by hand activates your brain in a deep physical way. Typing is fast and automatic, but writing? You slow down, you form each letter, you connect your hand, eyes, and mind. It's like pressing save on a computer file. So keep a small notebook. When you learn a new word, write the word. Write the meaning in your own words. Create a sentence. Add a personal connection. Example, word gratitude. Meaning, feeling thankful for what you have. Sentence, I felt deep gratitude when my friend helped me move. I want to practice gratitude every morning. This 60-second habit turns a definition into a living memory. Science confirms it. Students who take handwritten notes remember more than those who type or highlight. So grab a pen, make your learning physical, build your own library, one word at a time. Final truth, protect your mind from overload. All these techniques work, but only if you protect your mental space. Your brain is not a trash can for endless notifications, viral videos, and other people's opinions. It's a garden, and if you let weeds grow wild, they choke the flowers. Every time you scroll mindlessly, you flood your brain with noise, burying what truly matters. That's why you forget your grocery list after checking your phone for just 1 minute. So set boundaries. Start your day in silence, no phone for the first 10 minutes. Unfollow accounts that drain your focus. Practice digital fasting, 1 hour a day with no screens. Journal at night to clear mental clutter. You only get one mind, guard it fiercely. You're not just learning memory, you're awakening your potential. These 10 steps aren't just tricks, they're a new way of living, more focused, more present, more confident. And as you practice them, something beautiful happens. Your English improves naturally. You understand faster. You speak with more fluency. You trust your mind again. But remember, knowing is not enough. Memory mastery comes from doing every day. Do you pause to pay attention? Do you turn words into pictures? Do you write, teach, and protect your focus? If you do, you're not just someone who remembers better. You're becoming someone who remembers what matters and uses that power to grow, connect, and shine. If this video helped you, please subscribe for more content that makes you smarter, calmer, and more fluent, not just in English, but in life. Because here we don't just learn words. We build minds that remember, understand, and create. Thank you for watching. Now go learn something amazing and never forget it.